Hey guys, this is Jekar here with the Battle Report. I haven't made any in a while. I went to Brawler Bash and got a lot of flack for it from some of my other YouTubers. So I figured I'd go ahead and put some more reports up. I'm also going to put some reports up with Bromance Wargaming, our gaming group, probably starting Friday the 26th of April. Maybe a little later, but we've got a game scheduled, and so we're going to do that. This game is a 3,200 point, because why not? Game between my Orcs and Goblins and my perennial opponents, the Ogre Kingdoms. We rolled up meeting engagement, so let's see how this turns out. Actually, the Ogre player is on a winning streak against everybody in Bromance. He actually plays the highest out of all of the Bromancers in Brawler Bash, so this is me going to try and knock him down a peg. Here's a picture of my deployment. I had to deploy first. I've got 8 trolls. Behind that, I've got a unit of 20 archers. In the unit of archers is a Savage Orc War Boss with the +3 strength sword and the glittering scale. Also in that unit is the Savage Orc Great Shaman with the Lucky Shrunken Head and Fencer's Blades, and also a level 2 Orc Shaman with the Dispel Scroll. Next to them is 50 Night Goblins with nets and spears and full command, and in there is my General, which is a Black Orc War Boss, who has the Talisman of Endurance for a 5-up ward, the Sword of Striking, which is an awesome weapon I'm learning, and the Trickster's Helm, so hopefully he'll get effective toughness 6 and you have to reroll to hurt him with a 3-up, 5-up. We got 35 Black Orcs with Standard Bearer, Musician, and Banner of Eternal Flame. Some Vanguarded Wolves behind them with Spears and Short Bows. 2 Pump Wagons, no frills. 2 Doom Divers, and a Rock Lobber over there by the fence. Actually, I take that back. I did not get first turn because this is actually just my setup first. He's going to go first unless I roll a 6. And over there on the side, which you may not see in later pictures, very top right, is a unit of Scouting Man-Eaters with pistols, single pistols. They have Scouting, Stubborn, and pistols, and that's where he ended up scouting them at. This is a picture of his deployment. He's got 4 Mournfang with just a Standard Bearer and the Dragonhide banner. He's got 4 Lead Belchers with a level 2 Fire Belly that has the Dispel Scroll, and I think he has Seed of Rebirth. He's got a Hunter on a Stonehorn. We'll call it that. The Hunter has Gambler's Armor, and I think that he didn't give him an Iron Fist, which is good for me, I guess. It makes him lose a point of armor. He's got 10 Iron Guts. He's got his BSB and his Slaughtermaster General in there. He's got 3 units of Noblars, although only 2 showed up on the board, and he has 2 Saber Tusks, and this has to be after his first turn. You see the cat moved up in the top right. You see the Noblars pressing all the way forward. And actually, his unit, I think he has 12 Bulls that he usually puts all his characters in, and that started off the board along with his BSB. And if I didn't mention it, my unit of 35 Savages and my Savage BSB with Mork Spirit Totem started off the board, and that's why I had like 18 characters in that one little small goblin bunker. This is just a better picture of his movement. You can see that he brought on his big unit of bulls, and he's going to drop some characters in there. And you can see his second Saber Test started off as well. You can see it has moved up, and the 3rd unit of Noblars has also moved up. This is what my first turn looks like. I should mention that on his first turn, he fired the Iron Blaster at my Doom Diver in the left of this picture, hit it, and then failed to wound it, which I thought was awesome. Both of my everything kind of advances forward. My Black Orcs actually charged the Saber Tusk in the flank, which would have put them in the flank of the Man-Eaters had I overrun. So he fled, and I just redirected into something else and moved forward a little bit. And I threw some Pump Wagons up into him, and they both fell an inch short. And it's for this reason I'm really looking at that 10-point upgrade to give them the extra dice of movement, because 4d6 would have guaranteed that both of them got in. You can see my Wolf Riders have come up and everything kind of pushed up at the same time. Now I thought that this was going to be okay, those 2 Pump Wagons right there. But it turns out not to be so okay. I thought, oh, well, he'll kill one on his turn, and then he'll overrun in my turn. We'll fight, and then it'll be his turn again, and I'll have, I'll have had a chance to respond, but we'll see how well that works for me. And here's just another picture of my turn 1. You can see after on his turn 1 he blew off a couple trolls. You can see a bunch of characters have joined the Savage Star, and the point of the Savage Star is on the top, or which would be my left, but on the top of the Savage Star there is my War Boss with the +3 Strength Sword and the Glittering Scale, and next to him is the BSB with more Spirit Totem. And so my idea is to challenge characters, because I hate Ogre characters and they're very hard to kill, is to challenge with the War Boss, and so anybody that accepts the challenge will also, by virtue of having to move, be in base with the BSB, and then all of their magic items will stop working, and I should be able to really destroy them with 5 weapon skills, 6 strength, 9 or 8 attacks, and also I have a 5 up ward. I'm -1 to be hit, so I should only be hit on 5s. I'm thinking it'll take 2 rounds of combat, but I should survive 2 rounds of combat. And then on the other corner is my level 4, who I really like the Fencer's Blades on, because I always love the random times that I get off Fists of Gork. But you can see I'm kind of being conservative, and you can see my Manglers here at the bottom pushing forward, uh, uh, and I've got one that looks like it's threatening some Mournfang that are looking at my trolls. Yeah, here's a picture of those Mournfangs that are threatening the trolls. You can see that his Noblars have moved up. This is actually in his turn, and the Mournfang failed to charge into the trolls, which I wish that I had taken this picture just a little bit further down, because you can't see in the picture, but there is a Mangler Squig lined up perfectly to hit both the Mournfang and the Lead Belchers, and perhaps the Iron Guts. And so that Mangler Squig is just going to have a heck of a time. Also, I just love the fact that my trolls didn't get in combat this turn. You can see his Man-Eaters charged on his turn and killed a pump wagon, and they've overrun into my second pump wagon now. My Black Orcs are going to charge probably in my turn, and that little post in front of my Night Goblins is actually just dangerous terrain, so I'm going to try and avoid it with the big bus. This picture is just to show what the rest of my lines looks like a little bit closer. You can see that he's cannoned off one of my Doom Divers, and he's got Saber Tusk looking at my backfield there. So this is my turn 2. You can see my Savages there. I didn't move the Mangler in front of the Savages. The Mangler went on a bad path, and I didn't measure first, and so he's blocking my Savages. So I'm thinking, oh, I'll just hand him Gorkum, it'll be fine. The Trolls move up to form a line. The Night Goblins move up. The Black Orcs charge the Noblars and make short work of them, but they don't get very far overrun, which actually I think the Noblars flee, which was a great play on Chris's part, because it means that I have exposed myself to the Man-Eaters in the flank, which of course they kill my pump wagon. And so I should have just been intelligent and reformed my Black Orcs, but instead I got cocky. And you can see what the Mangler did over on his side. I did I think I rolled like 15 hits on the Mournfang, or something ridiculous. I guess only 2d6, but I did an obscene amount of wounds. I think that standard bearer has like 2 wounds left, so I did an obscene amount of wounds. I killed like 2 Lead Belchers. I killed 2 Iron Guts, and then you see it popped out over there on the other side, just hanging out, being cool. So this is after his turn. This is a good picture. You can see he has, I think he dropped a Saber Tusk. No, he dropped a unit of Noblars on the Mangler in front of his lines, which was very smart. He's continuing to shoot off some trolls. He's moving his hunter around. He Iron Blasted off my I think he Iron Blasted off my Rock Lava this turn. You can see a Saber Tusk on 1 wound is hanging out trying to get my last Doom Diver, so that's not going to go well. And you can see that my Black Orcs got beat the crap up. And I actually debated really long about whether I was going to use double choppas or great weapons, and I knew to myself, great weapons are better for the grind. I'm going to always wound on 2s. But I thought, well, this first round of combat, I should go double choppas because I'll wound on 3s, and it'll give me a chance to kill 1 or 2, and that's a big deal. because they're faster than me, that actually makes a difference. Well, of course, it didn't matter. I did 2 wounds to the unit, and so now it's a big grind fest where great weapons are better, and I'm kicking myself. On the plus side, I am not completely within the woods, or not more than halfway in the woods, which I think my opponent was thinking about. But luckily, I was able to position myself that way um, without completely ruining my ability to be steadfast and at least hold them there. So also in his turn, he charged the last Mournfang into the trolls. I threw my 3 fanatics from the bunker unit out. It killed the Mournfang and kind of spins around. It didn't do any damage to the trolls. I did like, I want to say I killed the Mournfang with the first fanatic, so I kind of threw the other ones at weird angles, trying to get them in front of the lead belchers. And I did like 1 wound to the trolls and it regened, and I killed the Mournfang, so that was nice. Um, Again, you can see what's going on over here, where my units are positioned, and I'm hopefully going to be able to do something about that Stonehorn soon. I don't actually want to get it to charge, um, but I want to do the charging on it to avoid its thunderous charge stuff. So I was trying to hand of Gork the savages. You saw in the last picture where they were at. They were still trapped behind that mangler, which didn't move very far, and I couldn't get it out of my way. It didn't move far enough to open a door. Um, he let hand of court go. I got a 12 dice magic phase. He let hand go because he knew he had to stop foot, and so I powered up hand and I rolled a 7 6 inch distance with hand, and that's really hilarious and also disappointing because the last 2 times I've cast hand powered up, I've moved 9 inches, and then the second time I moved 7 or 8 at Brawler Bash. And so this is just 6. So I'm waiting for, so next time I cast hand, it'll be a 5. It'll be all 5 ones, and then maybe I'll get some good luck starting after that. Here's just a picture of my Black Orcs being depleted. My opponent intelligently, after forgetting the first round, he reformed, so everybody's in base. He's getting like a billion D attacks on me, so that's not going to go very well. My goblins with bows came over here and shot at the saber tusk that was threatening my doom diver, trying to get rid of that. And here's just kind of how things are looking. I also charged that last turn with my night goblins into the flank of some of his Noblars, and my plan is just to win and reform and be all up in his face, uh, and see what happens. Actually, I believe that's wrong. I believe I'm lying to you. I believe I charged his lead belchers, failed to break them somehow. Um, I must not have done very many wounds or something. I think I challenged with my general and didn't kill his uh, Firebelly, and I didn't do any wounds with the goblins, and so I didn't win, and so I reformed to face the incoming Iron Guts. Now, actually, this was really an interesting question. Because my general's footprint doesn't match, I know that he can't make way, but he is allowed to combat reform. So the question was, when I combat reform to give the lead belchers my flank, because I know that I'm going to kill the Firebelly on my next turn with my general, how do I do it, and then who is in contact with excuse me, and then who's in contact with the lead belchers? So we had a really interesting time. We just ended up doing it the way that you see it with my general in between, and we counted the people to the on either side of him uh, as sliding over. Like if you attack the rear and the back, and your back rank isn't complete and the rear slides back, that's just what we ended up doing. But if you have an answer, I'd be interested to know what you think. That was just kind of our seat of our pants answer. You can see my Black Orcs are still kind of holding on a little bit over there in the left corner. So on his turn, obviously, he finally breaks the Black Orcs, although he's down to 3 and some chain, or 2 and wounded Maneater. So I'm thinking, maybe I'll get him with shooting, like Doom Divers or something. Maybe even my shooting from my bunker unit, or some fast cav can do it in. You can see how combat went over there with my Night Goblins. They're grinding it out pretty efficiently, really. You can see I've done a bunch of wounds um, to the Iron Guts, and I ran the Lead Belchers off this turn, I believe. So in my turn, my Black Orcs continue to flee because they need double ones. I continue the grind fest with the Iron Guts. You can tell barely that my unit is getting pretty depleted, and I took my savages into the um, Stonehorn. Now, I didn't have a picture of this, but I got the trolls into the Stonehorn earlier, into like the flank, because I only had 3 left, and I actually broke it of steadfast. So I charged my savages in the front, and I challenged with my general, and his hunter only had a single wound left. Or not my general, I'm sorry, my big boss, or my war boss, the one that makes everybody's magic weapons, not magic items, excuse me, not work. So I challenged with him, and I thought, well, I'll put 1 attack or 2 attacks on the hunter, and I'll put the rest on the Stonehorn. The Stonehorn won't be able to kill me because it only has 5 attacks, and and it won't, um, and I'll be fine. It hits me on 5, yada yada yada. And of course, I forgot about Thunderstomp anyway. So in a mocking of me and a continuation of my Savage Orc war bosses failing at every turn, I made a bunch of ward saves on my unit. Prior to this, I think he shot at my unit. I saved like 6 out of something, 6 out of 10, or on a 5-up. But he attacked 5 times. Uh, he did. He hit 3 times on 5s. Then he wounded all 3 times on a 3-up, and then I failed all 3 of my ward saves. So my war boss died. Of course, his Stonehorn still broke, and I ran it down and into his character bunker of bulls. But I was pretty frustrated that I couldn't get that my Savage Orc war boss died. Now, like I said, I forgot about Thunderstomps, which probably would have killed him anyway. So I just shouldn't have been greedy and let the orcs go to town on him. Should have just done it that way. Um, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like the Iron Guts did hold, but I'm feeling like if I can beat them on his turn, I can reform the Night Goblins to help out the Savage Orcs, who will need it on that second round of combat when they won't have Strength 5 anymore. Yeah, here's just a better picture of those combats. I overran into the character combat like that, managed to keep the Shaman out, which is nice. And you can see how depleted both of our units are, my General's unit and his Iron Gut unit. So in his turn, I'm pretty sure the Man-Eaters just push my Black Orcs off the board. I'm not sure that that's what happened, but they don't turn around in any event. You can see that I defeated the Iron Guts, and I actually do a bunch of damage to his bulls and make a bunch of ward saves to further mock my war boss, who couldn't make a single one. And I win that combat pretty handily, but I believe he's got Stubborn on the unit. Now, he's only leadership 8 with the reroll, but 8 with the reroll isn't 100% by any means, and I just needed him to roll badly, but he didn't, and that's fine. Now here's that game that never happens ever to me, and that's the game that I lost because of animosity. I know you can't see in this picture very well, but there's a little circular token by each of my Night Goblin units. The bunker unit actually rolled a 1 and then rolled a second 1, and so was forced to squabble with my general's unit because my general's unit is subject to animosity. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't get to beat the crap out of my unit and tell them that this plan's still a good one. So here they are, stuck, looking at the flank of some ogres, waiting, perfect chance to get a flank charge, a couple extra ranks, and get my general in there, who has 4 attacks that hit on 2 and wound on 2, and just would probably shred some stuff. And also the nets would have been really nice as well. But nope, not to be. So I just kind of sit there. My trolls are out of position because remember, I didn't think I was going to have the chance to use them. I thought I was going to be charging in, so they were just kind of there to cover my rear, maybe get a charge on the Iron Blaster. But here it is. I'm unable to do anything on this turn. I think I actually fired my Doom Diver at the Man-Eaters and it scatters wildly, my last Doom Diver. And in this round of combat, he completely decimates my savages. He's got toughness up, so I'm wounding on 5s. I can't make any saves. He beats the bejesus out of me, and he runs me down because I run like 8 inches. And by 8, I mean like 3. And he runs, as you can see, he doesn't have to run very far. The plus side is I can still see him with my general's unit. My general's unit is so whittled down that it can actually make that wheel between that and the Iron Blaster. And so my goal is to Oh, no, that's what happened. He overran into the trolls. My fault. But my goal is to use the general's unit to support the trolls, use the bunker unit to charge the flank, and just see what I can do. Net that unit, and just try through static combat res, try to win. This is I believe this is my turn 6. This is his turn 6 that happened in. So I believe my turn 6 is next. And so my only goal after losing about 1,200 points of Savage Orcs is to try and take about 1,200 points of Ogres off the board. So we'll see how that happens. And here's the last picture, which is kind of misleading because I beat him. This is that combat. I make that charge. I don't make it with the bunker unit, but that's all right. My Doom Diver, if I didn't mention it, actually survived. My Fast Cav actually plinked the last wound off. You can tell his Man-Eater is still alive. 2 of his Noblar units are still alive, and his Iron Blaster is still alive. So I fight this fight. I do a bunch of damage to him. He actually doesn't do that much to me. He's netted. He rolls pretty poorly. Uh, the trolls do a bunch of wounds actually and regen a bunch. Um, so this combat comes down, and I beat him on combat res. I actually wogged and ripped my shirt and everything. There was a group of hecklers there that were like, "Come on, rip your shirt, man!" So I ripped my last wogging shirt and only got a 1. I think if I rip my shirt, I should automatically get a 3 on the D3. That's just me talking. But come on, I'm ruining clothes here. So I wog, rip my shirt, get everything I can. Um, I beat him in combat. He breaks because remember he's only leadership 8 with the reroll. He's not steadfast because of the ranks. I didn't let him get the stubborn spell off, so um, he breaks. And on his pursuit, I of course declare I'm pursuing with everybody. And he rolls a 12, and I can't catch him. The trolls roll like a 9. The night goblins roll, I don't know, a 7 or a 6 or something. But the double sixes, I do get his BSB, and I do get some extra points for that and for the banners, but he gets away with the bulls and the level 4 general. So he really wipes out or cleans up in points there because even though they're fleeing at the end of the game, they still count as being alive for victory points. So that was a game. It actually turned out really a lot closer than I thought it would because of that last turn, getting the BSB and a bunch of banners and stuff. Turned out he got me by like 350 or 347 or something like that. So a lot closer than I thought when the Savages died. But I did actually get a bunch of his stuff as well, with the Iron Guts, and the characters, and the Stonehorn and all that jazz. Um, so just some closing thoughts. The ogres are tough, and a lot of times when I play against ogres, it's decided by magic. It's whether or not I can get foot off on a turn when they don't have bubble troll guts up. That's been like the last 3 games I've played against ogres has been, can I foot and stop troll guts, or can they troll guts and stop foot? And this game, of course, he didn't even have troll guts, but it didn't matter. I didn't get foot off but one time, and it hit once barely and and then Gort got bored and wandered off. But yeah, ogres are tough. They fight about as well as orcs, and I don't really like that. I learned that savage orc biggins need support, and by that I mean even though they're tough and even though they're better than bulls, they can't deal with a unit of bulls that has +1 toughness on. Like when I don't have my choppa bonus. I can't allow the ogres to outsupport me in magic, and so I either need support in the form of units, which we'll get to, or I need support in the form of magic defense. And magic defense has actually been a pretty prevalent thing I've been looking at recently, and I'll get to that in a second, what I'm thinking about doing for that. I learned that Mangler Squigs are awesome. Usually they're 65 points of shoot me, shoot me, shoot me, which they should be, as I learned this game. And so I really should take them like I take Fanatics, just for the sake that they might do something amazing. Because 3 Mournfang and 2 Lead Belchers and 2 Iron Guts or whatever they did, that one Mangler was amazing. Probably one of my MVPs of the game. Obviously, I need to pay attention to flanks more. I mean, I just gave my opponent that flank on my Black Orcs by charging the Noblars, and excuse me, I even consciously put a musician in the Black Orcs this time, to make Tom Richards proud of me, but also because, for things like that, so I could reform them and move. I should have just reformed and moved and made the Ogres come to me. Uh, but nope, I just let him get my flank. And then, of course, I also chose the wrong weapon. So that's something I do with Black Orcs frequently. Uh, and let me say that animosity finally caught up with me. And what I mean by that is, up until now, and 8th edition's been out for, what, 3 years? And I've been playing Orcs and Goblins for all but about the first 2 months of 8th edition. And about a 6-month hiatus where I played Dark Elves pretty exclusively. Um, for about 2.5 years, I've played Orcs and Goblins in 8th edition, and I've never had animosity lose me a game except once before, and it didn't lose me a game. It in fact turned a victory into a draw because we were playing a objective-based game, and it made my savages not be able to charge on the last turn and push somebody off of the objective. So we both contested, and so we tied instead of the victory points were split, or it was just an auto tie if nobody was the clear victor. So animosity actually cost me this game, I think, pretty effectively by losing me that flank charge, because as you saw, the rear charge with that and 3 trolls did really well. So I can't imagine the flank charge with the BSB and extra ranks and savages, and yeah, it just would have been nasty. So I'm really frustrated about that. And then my list going forward, obviously I'm going to drop the Savage Star. It didn't do that well. I really kind of took it as a lark anyway. We're playing 3,200 points. That's a weird point value. Um, I just wanted to try something out, and I wasn't really impressed. Uh, I think I'm going to drop the trolls back down to just single trolls. I'm going to try that. Uh, I'm going to give the pump wagons at least the flappas. Is it flappas? It might be outrigga. Anyway, the one that gives them the bonus to movement, because those slamming into the front of the man-eaters would have been very beneficial. I like the war machine setup. I actually think I'm going to add some spear chuckas as well, just because I have some extra points. I am going to keep the Savage Orc Biggins, but I'm going to just drop him to just the Shaman, the support Shaman. And one of the other reasons I'm going to drop the Trolls is I don't feel like, with the Savages and the Night Goblins with my War Boss and the Black Orcs, that's 3 combat blocks, and I don't really feel like I have enough space to maneuver effectively for combat blocks. As you saw, I got really blocked up, especially when 2 of them are hordes. So I think I'd rather just go that way. I'm gonna keep the Manglers in, obviously. I'm gonna keep the Fanatics in. They did pretty well. I actually think I'm going to add in a Wizarding Hat guy just for the fun of it, to see what's going on. With that, try to get Lore of Beast. Maybe Lore of Light. Time Warped Orcs would be awesome. I don't know. Anyway, just for the fun of it, kind of to make up for it. Between now and probably the end of May or beginning of June, most of my reports are going to be 3,000 Swedish comp-esque. We just increased the points of the Swedish comp because everybody wants to play 3K. We're doing 3K Swedish comp with 375 points and no grand armies. And because we have a small tournament that we're going to host, where those are the restrictions, and so I'm going to be trying out my list for that. We have to be between an 8 and a 13 and 13.9 for that tournament, so I'm going to be playing a little bit softer Orc and Goblin list, at least according to Swedish Comp. So we'll see how that goes. So those will probably be my reports coming forward in the future, and actually that first game under those restrictions is going to be posted up under Bromance Wargaming. We're going to do the live video one, I think, and that game is tomorrow, Friday, and so it might be up this weekend, hopefully, for you guys. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I know I've been long-winded here at the end. Thanks for sticking with me. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel, and have a good evening or morning or whatever time of the day it is for you.